Welcome to Norwegian Modeling Bench. This is Kenneth and the 14th installment on the CV-6 build series. Today I will be working on the stern flight deck and the structure beneath. There are not so many details going on the stern structure compared to the bow area, but definitely a really good addition to the model, I would like to say. The photo etch that I am using comes from the Pontos detail up set, so I could definitely recommend that one. So I hope that you will enjoy the installment, like and subscribe, and as always, I do appreciate comments. Enjoy! Then it's time to start working on the stern flight deck, the structure beneath. So what we're aiming for is this one. So let me try to get this in view. Sorry about the flickering. So this is the structure that is going underneath the stern flight deck, and this is seen from below. So not as many details as for the bow section or the bow flight deck, but at least there are some things that we should be aware of. So the first thing is this part, and of course also the kit deck, part Y. As I did for the bow deck, I have removed the nubs and also the single platform going out on the side. Then, since that part is so long, it is very cumbersome to add this part to the deck and then work with it. So as the instructions also point out, you should do this before. So that's what I've done as well, as you will see from the next sections. So the first thing to be aware of is the girders, these ones. The fit is really tight, so what I did to prevent them buckling up because of a lot of stress, I used some sanding paper and filed down some of the notches a bit so the tight wouldn't be that tight. Otherwise, sequence-wise, I would opt going for making all of these parts, of course, assembling them, gluing them on E01, and then move ahead with those top structures that are going on here before adding these ones, these platforms. That will make things very difficult to add afterwards. So I would recommend deviate from the sequence that's suggested in the instruction on that one. Otherwise, it's more or less the same operations that I've shown before, so I'm not going to show a lot of building the different things. It's more the sequence that is interesting, I think. So let's move on and build. As already mentioned, these girders have a very tight fit. As you can see here, they are really tough to get together, and you will get a lot of stress or tension in those girders if you don't file them down. You see, I tried, but it's too much. But sanding them and then fitting them together like this ended up being a good result. And it's important to align these girders with the lines on the E01 parts. Otherwise you will get into a lot of trouble adding the platforms on the sides later on. Then using extra thin CA to glue those girders to the E01 photo etch. So showing the sanding paper that you need to use, and also this part where you can see some tension. Then there is a lot of these beams going on the deck, which we also saw in the bow area. You need to file down the tags from the fret, otherwise the fit won't be as good as it could be, and there is a lot of them, and the fit again is very tight, so you need to make sure that you remove those fret tags. Just dipping them into CA and attaching them. And here I'm forgetting to turn on the video, just taking a picture, going to glue down the plate on the top, just adding some CA glue to the girders and then adding that plate. And then we have these going on the top of the girders. I would recommend you adding them at this point, otherwise you will get into some trouble adding some of the platforms and details later on, or actually adding these one later on. Not you won't have problems with the platform. So except for the two on the sides where you see three of those sticking out, just the one in the middle you need to add this top part. Otherwise you will get into some trouble adding those platforms later on. So you can see I'm just adding the one in the middle because you have a platform that is going over this one, so it will be a bit tedious to add later. Then there are some details being added to the side here before then adding this platform. And if you have done a good job adding those beams, this platform goes in quite easily. Just a bit convincing needs to be shown. Then we have these platforms. This is a quite tedious operation. You only have one positive connection here. So spend your time wisely, be accurate, and don't rush it, because otherwise you will have a bit of an issue later on. There are also some beams going on here. Those are quite difficult to add because you can't push or add pressure when adding those. So take care on that one. So then these are added to the sides, the platforms on these things that are sticking out. And if you have been aligning things well, then it shouldn't be a big issue adding those to those beams. So now we have a lot of good, nice photo etch details here. I at least love the look of those, the brass. And then I'm adding the entire thing to the kit part, the Y, and using E6000 and applying the part. Of course, I've test fitted and dry fitted several times, and the fit will be quite nice, that you will see later on. And then I will let this dry under slight pressure for 24 hours before moving along with the next step. and that is adding those gun tubs on the back. And the fit here is very nice. It's very nicely done by Pontos, I have to say. And then you are adding also the gun tubs platform on the sides. So the normal operation that I do, gluing a bit with some CA and then using extra thin afterwards to secure. So that's something I can really recommend. You don't get a lot of CA glue messed around, and it's less of a job tidying up. And just adding some pressure to secure the part into the CA glue. And then you of course do this for both sides. And then we have the final pieces on top here. And that actually is the last parts on this build. So here we can see the final result. I have to say I'm quite happy with the end result. Small gap on the side, but that's not going to be very visible when this is painted up. And then of course there's a PE fantail that's going to be added on later. So I hope that you like this one and that it gave you a bit of an insight when you are going to start on your build. So until next time, keep safe.